because the man doesn't want to get to that intimacy of kissing. They start getting bored because you want to go from step 1 to 7, and there's 2 to 6 in between. And so what I'm going to ask you to speak on the man's point of view, which is kind of crazy, but just speak to a man, basically letting them understand that you need to be very patient when you're in a relationship with somebody, because if you're not, that's what spices are. And if you're putting that spice in there, you're continually keeping the relationship alive.
Yeah, well, I think what we're talking about is when there's lack of intimacy, or when a man, wants to just rush into getting down to the nitty gritty and not taking his time. A woman can really shut down, and a woman's body is a very interesting place, right? I mean, you never know really what's really going to, get us to, a point of arousal where we want to be intimate. And so a man has to be sensitive to that. But I would also say if there's, lack of passion or lack of intimacy, it's a symptom of other things, other intimacy areas being broken down, communication, feeling safe, feeling loved and secure in the relationship. And so if you're looking at your relationship and saying, okay, I'm kissing my wife, she doesn't want to have sex with me, why doesn't she want to have sex? You need to look at some of the other things that are happening, that are going on in the relationship, that is creating this for your partner to kind of shut down and not want to open up and be intimate.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of intimacy. Is physical intimacy vital for a healthy relationship, Eden?
Absolutely.
Why?
All day, every day, and twice on Sunday if you can work it out.
Hallelujah.
But, absolutely. Just because intimacy in any marriage is a physical manifestation of what's already happening between you spiritually and emotionally. Your body is there to express to each other, for each other, with each other, that the intimate exclusiveness that you share in that relationship that you don't have in any other relationship.
And shouldn't have in no other relationship.
That you shouldn't have in any other relationship.
Put that disclaimer out there.
Yes, put that disclaimer out there.
That's why it's so important, because it is the one thing about your relationship that separates it from every other relationship you have. So when there's a problem in that area, it's usually not a sexual problem per se. As in, you don't have enough tricks to do. You know that. It's what's really the problem is there's a breakdown in trust somewhere. There's a breakdown in safety or security someplace, and it's manifesting sexually. Sex problems are very rarely about tab A and slot B. I mean, it happens, but that's rarely what the problem actually is. The problem is usually a symptom of something else happening somewhere else. And once you resolve that, everything else.
So are you basically saying it's like a mental situation that they're having?
Most of the time it is.
And so, I mean, so what do you do when you have that physical issue that comes about, that sometimes it causes a relationship issue? Sometimes that happens as well. Mentally, I think a lot of times, people are, I would say sometimes we try things and then we get tired of trying, and then mentally we just stop. But sometimes there can be some physical attributes that can cause problems as well, right?
Absolutely. And they should be addressed instead of hiding from it. Don't ignore it. Don't refuse it. Don't pretend like it's not there. Address it directly, because they're very often it can be pretty easily remedied. I mean, it's not like everything has to be surgically fixed, or it has to be this big dramatic thing to get you back on course. It can usually be something pretty simple. You just change a little of this, add a little of that, take away something, and you'll be back on track. But you have to address it before it gets to a crisis, and then it really is a drama to try to put it all back together.
Yeah, but Eden, I don't want my woman knowing that I got some kind of a physical issue. That's just a little bit too much to want me to tell her, right? I love her, I really love her, but, hey, she don't need to know that.
Are we talking fictitiously, or I need to know what I'm going home with tonight?
No, we talking about getting another wife if she thinking I'm not talking fictitiously. But what I want to go over here to Leslie, since I get since we're going to be looking for a new partner on the Let's Stay Together show. You know, I mean, if I am a man, and he's smacking you too, so that's two smacks.
No.
Two smacks and a swirl right now. But Leslie, if I am a man and I'm having some issues, because a lot of times when men have issues that they they know that they have or they discover that they have, it's very embarrassing to tell anyone, especially the person that you're having a relationship with. How do you deal with that in a counseling way to maybe help that man who's because men's egos are very shallow, by the way. I didn't say that. That was Brenda actually talking in a man's voice. But men's egos are very shallow. And so now I've got to go to my woman, my wife, and tell her that I got these issues. That can be hard.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think couples counseling is a great opportunity to be able to communicate that in a safe environment. In couples therapy, many times the first session you meet with both parties, and then you separate the next two sessions, meet with the woman and meet with the man separately, so that you can talk about some of these hard things that's kind of hard to talk about, that's embarrassing. And then after that, when you bring the couple back together, it's the therapist's job to support each partner to kind of share some of the things that they are afraid to share, and supporting in a supporting environment, and figure out how do you want to work through that. I think, like our expert over here said, there's so many different ways that you can address these issues now. The internet, there's so much information. There's specialists. There's sex therapists. It's just a matter of realizing, okay, if this is an issue, that we need to address it and we need to move forward. And knowing, I think once a man knows that his wife or his partner is going to be supportive and, unconditionally support him and not judge him, that they can move together as a unit and try to remedy the situation.
Yeah. Rob, I'm going to ask you this question, fictitiously too, so you don't have to get on your wife about like I had to get on mine here.
Right.
With men, like I was just saying to Leslie, we have that kind of, shallow ego where we're afraid to talk about things like that. I mean, talk to a man that may have that issue right now.
Well, I think there's a lot of power in numbers and knowing that you're not the only one out there. There's a number of resources on the internet if you want to approach the issue from an anonymous standpoint. Go into a chat room, say, hey, you don't have to announce necessarily who you are, but you can announce your profile and the issue that you're having. And I think a lot of men would be surprised at the number of peers and other men that are experiencing the same issue.
Yeah.
And through those avenues, you can also get the support to understand what other men have been doing to address, combat or deal with the issue in and of itself. Obviously, intimacy is a very important part of a marriage and a relationship. But, there's areas outside of that you can look to enhance all while, trying to re-spark that flame, so to speak, that can help you, rekindle your entire relationship and not just the sexual aspect. Now, obviously, again, the sexual aspect is important. And so, I would speak to the men and say, hey, go out on the internet, ask your personal care physician. They deal with these issues all the time. Mm-hmm. So you shouldn't really be embarrassed in those avenues and from a healthcare perspective or from just a general information gathering perspective like on the internet to really put yourself out there, because the chance of embarrassment or feeling ashamed is severely minimized, and the opportunity for information is greatly enhanced.
Speaking on seriously for men, by the way, I don't know if it's just me. Do I hear background noise on here somewhere? I'm like, I keep on hearing somebody talking. I'm like, is there a man in the background saying, stop talking about this? For men that are going through this issue, you should be very honest with your mate, your married spouse, partner, in regards to any kind of physical inabilities or disabilities, I should say, that you have, so they can understand that, and you shouldn't be so afraid to talk to them. This is the person that you plan on living the rest of your life with. And we're not talking to you single people, because you should be out there making love anyway. But to you married people, be able to be honest and fair and talk about that, so that person is able to work with you And if they do love you, as I'm sure that they do, they would be more than happy to work with you in this situation. And you can find out other things that you can do to satisfy each other. Go ahead.
Just to piggyback on that, seriously, even though your partner may not know what the issue is you're having, guaranteed they know something is wrong.
Yeah, they know.
It's really important that you keep that channel of communication open instead of trying to convince your mate, no, everything's okay. Why do you keep hounding me? Trying to make them think they're wrong or they're crazy or something like that, because it just creates a greater divide in the relationship. So just be honest about it. They already know something's wrong. They just don't know what it is.
Yeah.
So just let them be the support that they actually do want to be for you. Otherwise, they wouldn't even be concerned.
Hey, baby, you got something you want to add there before we go to commercial break?
I want to ask another question here.
Do you have anything to add to that before we go to commercial break? Because we got a couple of minutes before commercial break.
I don't have
This
anything.
is a man's
You know
world.
what? Stop showing out because you got Rob in here.
No, but you know what? I mean, you can go to a question and then we'll come from that point after that. What's your next question you got?
The next question is...
I tell you what, before you go to your question, introduce our people who come into our show. They just they just came out on the street. We don't know these people. They just decided they're just going to... They heard the show and they like, we coming in and we taking over.
Tracy found them because we was talking about sex and they said, we want to get in on that.
Yeah, and they are really sexy. So let's keep them.
This is a sexy group tonight. Yeah. I want to welcome to the round table panel tonight, Nicole and Damon Reed. Now, they've been happily married for 9 years. Damon is a mural artist and he could paint his butt off. And his lovely, beautiful wife, Nicole, is an actress and writer and model. You didn't give me that, but I'm like, she's a model.
And she's a crazy comedian, too.
Yeah,
that's
and
another
a comedian.
thing. She's
and
crazy.
They love Jesus and have 2 beautiful daughters.
Amen.
Don't be kissing up on him right now.
Hey, wait a minute. She said the show is about spicing up your relationship. I just want to add real quick about Damon and the work that he does. I mean, this brother. All right, man, cut it off. I don't want to hear all that stuff. Damon, I mean, this brother is like awesome in the murals that he does and all. I mean, brother, every time I look at that stuff on there, I just be amazed. You do a fantastic job. And I love everything you're doing. It's just awesome, brother. Thank you.
Oh, stop it. Keep going.
And he sings too, right?
Yeah, sings, rap.
Rap, sings, everything.
The daughters sing and rap. I mean, my God, it's like a talented family. The new Cosbys are on the show today, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Welcome. Thank you very much for being there. Baby, we got like 2 minutes. So you can ask the question or ask the question. Ask. Sometimes... I'm just real, y'all. Sometimes we say axe. We axe things around here. We axe things. And if you don't like that I axe things, just don't axe me nothing.
A-X-E, so that's okay.
So ask the question
Well,
to
I
them.
want them to marinate on this, too.
Okay.
But the question is, what is the difference between intimacy, sex, and romance? Most men think they're all the same.
So we're gonna bring that one back. They're gonna come back to that
marinate
question.
on that.
So marinate on that as we go on a break. Hey, Jonathan, raise your hand or something. We got to go to break now.
No.
No. Well, okay. So real quick, Eaton, just give me like about a tidbit on that. Okay, it's over. You ain't even get the mic, girl. Come on. Go ahead.
Intimacy is built on trust. Period.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can have it in just about any relationship you have. It's not always sexually expressed. Of course, in a marriage, it should be.
Mm-hmm.
But intimacy is based on trust. Romance is all that fun stuff that you do to show your boo that your boo.
Yeah.
So boo it up.
Okay.
Like, really, enjoy it.
Okay.
The play, the adventure, the exploration, that's what romance is about.
Mm-hmm.
And sex, of course, is the physical expression of your arousal for each other.
Boy, you act like she didn't. She like, I don't know how to say this one.
We're gonna let
Eaton come out.
Y'all on the air.
We real here, baby. God know that this is about marriage, and marriage should be exciting. Hey, this is the Let's Stay Together show. We'll be right back after these commercial breaks.
Good evening. This is Reverend Rick McCain, and this is Something You Should Know. Are you struggling with telling someone the truth? Are you afraid that your encouraging words of love and support will be interpreted